We're going to join a news conference that has just started, that is underway. The Council of American-Islamic Relations, CAIR, you see behind them, and they're introducing speaker after speaker.
In cold blood. So, as a Muslim, as American, I would like to make this statement. Our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are with the victims of their and with the victims and their families. We offer condolences to the families, and we pray for the recovery of the survivors. This is a hate crime, plain and simple. We condemn it in the strongest possible terms. It violates our principles as Americans and as Muslims. Let me be clear. We have no tolerance for extremism of any kind. We must not tolerate hateful rhetoric that incites violence against minorities. Religious freedom is the cornerstone of our beliefs as Muslims and as Americans. Today, we must stand united. For many years, members of the LGBTQIA community have stood shoulder to shoulder with the Muslim community against any acts of hate crimes, Islamophobia, marginalization, and discrimination. Today, we stand with them, shoulder to shoulder. The liberation of the American Muslim community is profoundly linked to the liberation of other minority groups, blacks, Latinos, gay, Jewish, trans, and every other community that has faced discrimination and oppression in this country. We cannot fight injustice against some group and not against others. Homophobia, transphobia, and Islamophobia are interconnected systems of oppression, and we cannot dismantle one without dismantling the others. Homophobia and other forms of phobia take lives in this country every day, and we must stand up for the victims and for their families. The criminals, the terrorists, and extremists behind this kind of attacks mean only to divide us and turn us against one another. We cannot afford to let them succeed. As Muslims, as Americans, now is the time to speak out and make it clear that we will not give in to hate and we will not give in to fear. We heard in the news that the alleged perpetrator called in and he pledged allegiance to Daesh, or as we call it, ISIS. I have a word for ISIS and their supporters. How would you stand before God and answer to your crimes against innocent people, thousands of innocent people, Muslims, Christians, and other minorities? You do not speak for us. You do not represent us. You are an aberration. You are an outlaw, or as we call it in Islam, they are Khawarij. They are outlaws. They don't speak for our faith. They never belonged to this beautiful faith. They claim to, but the 1.7 billion people are united in rejecting their extremism, their interpretation, and their acts and senseless violence. And to those politicians who may try to exploit this tragedy, we ask them to respect the victims and their families. This is not the time to score points. This is not the time to exploit fear. This is the time for unity and faith. Thank you.
That was the Council on American-Islamic Relations, CAIR, in Washington.